So sad for some of you guys. Still can't beat Mike Draco across the line. He's first, sliding in just 1/2 of 1 second ahead of Steve Burrows from Detroit. Joe Sparrow in. Greetings from Sturgis, already in the big city. We're all getting ready, Joe. Make a good spot for us. Hold that camp spot that's between the bathroom and the stage. Jason Sims, boom. Good to see all you guys. Walter Benarski, New Jersey. Man, the room is filling up fast. It's incredible. Going to be a great show tonight with Chris Summer Simmons and Michael Lichter as they take you on an adventure through the history and present day women in motorcycling and tons of stuff. Stick around. Going live in 3 minutes and 30 seconds with Coast to Coast. Oh my God, there's so many people. I can't quit yet. Let's see. Nancy Keener, Maryland in the house. Larry Fortney. Here, Larry's here. Good news. David Crum, Butler, New Jersey. Marty Zavakos, howdy. Bruno Coppola, Laconia, New Hampshire. Jimmy Bradley checking in from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Walt Lumpkin, Georgia in the house. Gene Van Verheyden, from Taos County, New Mexico. Beautiful country down there. Rob Nussbaum, bam, he's in. Looking good. Gigi, hi from Derry, New Hampshire. Rob Nussbaum, hi Chris, and that's not spelled with the H, so he's not talking about me. Hey, what's up, Rob? You can say hi to me too, man. Cecil Williams, hey Abby. Glory Kinziger, Glory from Wisconsin. Junie Rose, Indiana. Rob Nussbaum, Steve, hey Steve. Chris Possum Sawyer, right on. Good to see you here, buddy. Hey, listen, man, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, and I would like to welcome you to what we do every Tuesday, Coast to Coast, with Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter. This show goes live 9 p.m. every Tuesday, and it's just one of the shows we offer here at Source Media. We also have Wednesday night, the Cannonball Chronicles. Thursday night, Torque for you performance-oriented two-wheeled folk. And on Sunday, we wrap it all up with our flagship show, Shop Talk. It's good to have all you guys here. Awesome crowd building up tonight. It's incredible. And listen, you don't have to just sit there and be an observer. You can put your questions, comments, and concerns wherever you're watching this program. Any Facebook channel, any YouTube channel, throw your comments up in the comment box, and they'll end up in the yellow box on our show. And the host will try to get to them throughout the night. Of course, bribing works. The nicer the comment, possibly the easier to get mentioned, but I'm just saying, I'm not hating. Sean Kelly here with us. Rob Nussbaum, howdy. Executive producer Chris Callan, thank you. See, I feel so much better. It's going to be a great night. 1 minute out from going live with Coast to Coast. You have just enough time to grab something cold to drink, get a nice soft spot, sit back and relax, get ready for Coast to Coast. Okay, as the clock hits the 30-second mark, I'm going to thank you guys one more time for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like and share button throughout the show tonight so you can help us grow this audience. We have an incredible audience now, but hey, there's always room for more. With 15 seconds left, I'm going to get ready to cut you guys loose and turn this thing over. Let's get this one out of the stable and up onto the racetrack and go live with this week's Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome Tuesday night, Coast to Coast. We weren't here last week, but we're back tonight. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. Don't forget to hit your like and share button. Tell your friends. Get everybody to watch because this is going to be a great show tonight. Anyway, let's bring in our co-host from Boulder, Colorado. You know who he is. Michael Lichter. Look at him, Mr. Smiley.
Already? You are so good with hit that like and share button. I never remember that stuff.
I don't remember it either. I think about Rob would
You're
be
very
like,
good.
Jason, mash it.
You're good at it. There you go.
I missed you last week. We didn't have a show. Chris had to go do some stuff for Harley.
After spending a week together, and then that was it. We missed 2 weeks.
Well, I know we were together. Well, it was like the Chase crew and everybody, and I'm still kind of coming off of that. I actually spent some time today looking at this beautiful program that those guys put together.
Oh, that was awesome.
I mean, it's just so fun to just keep looking at. And there's our guest tonight. Oop, wrong way. There's Abby, who's going to be our guest tonight. Just such a cool,
it's a great book,
person.
And everybody could order that online. Yes. I think through. I'll have to ask Chris to chime in, but I'm sure through the Chase website and maybe even Source Media, because Source Media are the group that put it together somehow. I don't know with all the other stuff they have.
Or the Cannonball or the Chase people.
All the orders actually do go through the Cross Country Motorcycle Chase, and I'll throw that link up in the comments right now.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank
so there it is. That's a great deal, that program. So, wow.
Busy so lots week. Of stuff going on. I know you're getting busy. I want to congratulate you because I know the Easy Riders thing is pretty cool.
My goodness. I'm getting a busy calendar for the next 12 months.
It's nice to see Dave Nichols around again. I mean, Dave, everybody goes way back with Dave.
Dave's coming to Sturgis.
Oh, yes.
And yes, wow. And he should be there at noon. I hope people come to the public opening of my exhibition at noon on Sunday. So that's Sunday, August 8th. And at noon, we'll have a bunch of the builders there, and I'll be there to talk about the show. This is the More Metal Motorcycles and Art That Never Quit. So we're talking about people that have got some miles on them, and they have built a lot of bikes, and they're here to tell about it. They're still standing, right? Which is amazing for any business to say anymore.
Really, that's going to be so fun. It's always a highlight for me. Your show is always so much fun, and one of the reasons I try not to miss it. Everybody sees everybody, but it's really looking at all the cool bikes, and I guess you're going to have some photos you're going to put up on the wall.
You're not going to miss it because Jonathan's picking you up at the airport, and he's capturing you and bringing you right to the gallery where you're going to help us set up.
Well, that's right. See, last time I did the overnight, I did overnight flight to Newark, and Rob picked me up, and I had to go to the shop and tear my whole bike apart.
And we're putting you to work too.
So, okay, this will be different kind of work. Just instead of a wrench, it'll be a screwdriver, right?
That's right.
Okay,
yep.
Anyway, there's so many cool events coming up. I want to thank Women Riders Now because I go on your website and I steal your events, and I share them. We share them with everybody, and some cool stuff happening. I think they're leaving in a few days for the Suffragist Centennial Motorcycle Ride, the women's ride across the United States. It's really going to be cool. I'm actually joining them in Sturgis to do the ride to Washington, D.C., where there will be a women's conference at the end. Some really cool people riding along. It's Elisa Klickinger's ride, and people like Tigra and Wendy Crockett's riding along, our Iron Butt friend that we had on our show. So I get to hang out with all these women. I know. I get to hang out with. I mean, I love my Cannonball and my Chase family, but
what?
A lot of dudes there.
Hopping on a new bike and crossing the country sounds like a lot of fun with a good group of people, and especially a number of those people have been guests on our show this past year.
I know. I'm gonna
be really cool.
Hang out with some of them, so it's really fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous about riding a new bike because I know I'm used to the hand shift and foot clutch, and I'm gonna have to just think.
Well,
that's what's going to be like. What's that?
Harley sent me when they set us up on the Chase. They sent me it was a brand new, or had 1,500 miles on it, a Street Glide. So I don't know. Did you pick your bike yet?
I think I got a Sport Glide because I needed a saddlebag space.
Well, whatever it is, I'm telling you. I thought that Street Glide, they talk about the performance bagger segment. I'm telling you, this was a performance bagger. I was backwards for 1,300 plus miles, but I did borrow it. I had to go to a shop one day, and I was by myself, so I sat forwards on the bike, which was really nice. And boy, it really rode like a performance bagger.
Nice.
I thought I can get on the racetrack with it.
Yeah, probably there's some. I can't wait. I'm so excited just to use a button,
I'm excited for you. It's going to be so much fun.
I went to the Harley shop in Maui. Yes, we have one. Small now. It's kind of downsized. but they had an icon on the floor, and I actually sat on it. It was so tall, and I'm a tall girl, and I was like, man, this is even like riding, some kind of something that's really tall, So I thought, I'll skip that one.
Hey,
But
some of those old bikes you ride are pretty tall too.
That's true. Effie's tall, but she's slim.
Well, let's get back to the events.
There's some other cool events, the Wild Gypsy Tour, and the Women's Day at the Chip, which is also, there it is. It's Kelly.
Yeah, that's a lot that day going on, right?
Yep. And they actually took biker bells, and now we made it, thanks to the people at the Chip. Thank you very much. They're calling it Women's Day at the Chip. There's going to be all kinds of cool things, welding, learning how to weld. I want to learn how to weld. I've always wanted to learn how to weld. I can use a cutting torch, but I don't know how to weld. And women, want to learn how to pinstripe and just hang out. It's like biker bells, but more than biker bells.
Okay, wait.
So I'm really excited.
I have a question. Why in the middle of all these women that are being celebrated at the Buffalo Chip is John Montgomery right in the center?
I saw that. There's a dude in the middle. It's like Hollywood Squares.
I mean, I don't want to be. I don't want to cross people off the list or anything. But
there's another guy down below me. Who's that? In the square below me. Who's that? I don't know him. But hey, whatever. I guess they're infiltrating. Mike, I guess you get to come.
There you go. There's my picture in there.
I don't know. You never come to our events.
Yeah, I do.
Because you're busy doing your own stuff. That's true.
Sturgis gets very busy. Well, what else? There's another thing called
Medicine Wheel Ride, August 8th. The annual ride led by Indigenous women who ride raises awareness and supports issues that affect the Native American people. So it's AMA sanctioned. That sounds pretty cool. Nonprofits.
That's really cool, especially when you consider the Black Hills are, they're sacred land.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing, and you sense it when you're riding around the Black Hills why they feel that way about it. So that's really cool that they're doing this ride.
Right. I'm just excited about all this stuff, and then doing the ride, and then the women's conference I'm speaking. So we'll see how I do on the ride, and if I'll be like, okay, now I get to talk, get to the end of it. So it'll be fun. I think great. Karen Davidson is also presenting, so I get to hang out with Karen.
And riding with her, so that's going to be...
Hopefully we'll do some riding together.
That's going to be really nice.
Yeah. And then we have, don't forget Charlie Bretchtel's Golden Chopper. They're going to do the drawing to benefit the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. I believe the drawing will be on the 13th. Such a cool bike. Don't forget all the money, the proceeds go to the Sturgis Museum Hall of Fame, which was very important for Charlie. He just loved the Hall of Fame. So in his honor, I need to buy some of those tickets, actually. It's a pretty cool bike.
It's really cool.
Yep.
Before we go to guests, I just want to mention that some of the people commenting, of course, there's a race every week. Can you imagine in the first 10 seconds that the chat opened up, there were 7 comments in the first 10 seconds. Is that amazing?
Thank you, guys. I know, it's so fun.
It's so cool. And the first one was Joe, our favorite Joe Sparrow in Sturgis already. So he's already there waiting. Jason Sims chimed in 2 seconds later. And of course, there's a bunch of our regulars here, Walter Benarski, Nancy Keener, Larry Fortney, David Crum, and of course, your favorite Rob is always in there.
Where's my husband? Is he not watching? I warned him. You better get on there.
I know you did. You did warn him.
Yeah, he's not home. It's the first time we've been apart, and since I did the chase.
Oh, so this is a chance to catch up with you.
A year and a half. I know. I'm like, where are you? You're supposed to watch the show. Anyway, he's in rehearsals. They're hoping they can get their rehearsal done and do some shows coming up. The Doobie Brothers. So
I want to know about our Women in Motorcycling tonight.
Yes, we have a segment, and I think you guys are going to like this one. So let's check it out. Here's our segment for this evening. Everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Incredible Women of Motorcycling History. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about my friend Gloria Tremonton-Struck. Gloria's father opened up a motorcycle shop in 1915 in Clifton, New Jersey. He was an Excelsior and Henderson dealer, Indian too, I think. Gloria was born in 1925 in the apartment above the shop. Grew up around motorcycles her whole life. Tragically, her father was killed on a motorcycle when she was just 3 years old in 1928. But her mom didn't give up. Her mom and her brother Bub ran the shop for many, many years. In fact, she tells a story about how her brother Bub, when she was 16, decided that she needed to learn how to ride a motorcycle. She really didn't want to, she says, but I think deep down she probably really did because it changed her life. She rode for many, many years, did so many rides. Joined the Motor Maids in 1946, was really actually one of the longest members who was still riding way up until her 80s. She rode all over Europe. In 1950, she did her first solo tour in the United States. In 1952, the article appeared in the Enthusiast magazine. Her daughter Lori also rides with her, as does her son and her granddaughter Kathy. It's a pretty cool motorcycle family. She was inducted into the Sturgis Hall of Fame. She was inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame. She received an award, the Life Achievement Award from the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame, which is really cool, very rare. I don't know if any other women have actually had that award. Get to know Gloria Tremonton-Struck. She actually has a book. You can read her book. It's called Gloria, or you can check her out, get it on Facebook, or you can check her out in my book, American Motorcycle Girls, 1900 to 1950. Get to know her. She's going to probably be at some events coming up, maybe this summer, we hope. Anyway, Gloria, happy 96th birthday on July 7th. We'll see you guys next week with another edition of Incredible Women of Motorcycling History. Thanks.
Wow, that was great.
I love that picture of her helmet. I actually took that picture with her Fear Me sticker on her helmet.
That's awesome. And so was your shirt, your blouse.
Oh, you like that? That's
that.
Vintage.
That
vintage
was really cool.
Ohio.
I like that. But Gloria is awesome. And you know what? You did your number one first show. How many weeks ago? Was that 54 weeks ago?
This is our 49th show tonight.
No, I thought we were over 50.
No, because we didn't have a show last week.
Oh, so it's not a year yet. I guess it was
counted.
We missed a couple weeks.
Here.
There you go.
Look it's my high-tech sheet.
Well, then,
where I write people's names down.
Well, maybe for our 52nd episode, or for the last episode of the year, first one of the next year,
sure,
we should have Gloria back, because I was not on that first show and I really missed out because I love Gloria and I didn't get a chance to be with her on there.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know where you were, but you weren't with us yet.
You didn't invite me.
Wait a minute.
That's right.
I don't know about that.
That's right.
Maybe. I don't know.
That was your first show, and you did it, and then you called me right after the show and said, "Hey, how about co-hosting?" So you didn't do it before the first show; you did it after the first show.
You know what? I have no memory. My long-term, short-term memory is gone with that. So, but I'm glad you decided to join us, because it's been fun every week.
It has been fun. It's fun hanging out.
Let's not forget one more thing. I just want to change the subject slightly. You know, Ray Dre is going to be in Sturgis painting.
Oh, yeah. At the Iron Horse.
We talked about it in the pre-show, but yeah.
He's going to be at the Iron Horse Saloon, and he's going to be set up right near the stage. So with his bike shows in front of the stage, he's right there. He's actually going to be painting bikes live, so you can go there every day. And he's actually going to have long days. He's going to be working at night as well. So that's going to be pretty darn cool to go check out Ray's work. You may want to buy some and take a piece home, or have him ship it to you, or just watch him do it. So it's pretty cool. Ray was he was a protege of, for anyone that doesn't know, Ray was a protege of Willie G for years, when he had actually painted a bike for Willie G when he was still in high school. So he grew up with Willie's kids and got very close to him, and Willie spotted his talent early. And for years, he kind of worked under his wings there, and eventually took over at Harley after Willie retired.
Wow, so cool. I'm excited to go. Well, I like to hang out at the Iron Horse anyway, because they have the Vintage Day thing and stuff happening there.
Well, also something else we didn't mention, on noon on Wednesday, Kickstands Up. So show up around 10:30, 11. Check out Ray painting and all of the Perowitz paint show bikes coming in and getting set up, and then come ride with us, because I am going to be in my normal position, backwards.
Your normal position.
Backwards, and looking at the world backwards. And I will be photographing people from the saddle, heading up Van Ocker Canyon, one of my favorite rides to motorcycle on it in the whole world. And we're going to head up to Nemo Guest Ranch for some lunch. So come ride with us, get your picture taken, hang out with the Cycle Source media crew. And
what day is that? That's Wednesday.
Yeah, you coming? Or are you going to be gone?
I think I can't go on Wednesday. What's on Wednesday? I think that's the Sturgis Hall of Fame breakfast. Sorry.
You'll come down right after. If you have that new Harley.
I have to leave. I have to jump on that bike after Biker Bells. I'm sorry, after the Hall of Fame breakfast. And I have to catch the group of girls in Murdo.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what's happening. You're afraid to get photographed on that bike. That's it.
No, of course
Yes,
not.
I
I love
caught you.
Harleys.
Yep, you said Effie or nothing. Yep.
Well, no, you'll find me. It'll be weird, but yeah, I mean,
All righty. What about our guest tonight? Let's hear about it.
I'm so excited. Well, when I found out about Abby, we talked about getting someone from Hoka Hey on our show, a woman writer from Hoka Hey, and I really didn't know anyone. And I have to ask Abby how she found out about the chase, but we met her on the chase. She was incredible. Long distance rider, a lot of solo stuff, really cool. 55, it was a 55 panhead, kind of a chopper,
It's very cool.
shift,
and she rode it home.
And she rode it home.
She rode it home to Colorado. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And she's got a great story. And you know what's kind of cool? Tracy Bailey commented already, and she said, Hoka Hey, Abby Spaedt, which is really cool because you could say, hey, Abby, or you could say, Hoka Hey, Abby. So
Hoka Hey, cool. Abby. Yep. Let's bring her in. Let's bring in Abby. I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
There you are. How's it going?
Hi, Abby.
Going well. Hey.
So you're just up the road from me. We could have done this together.
It's true.
That's right. How long have you been in Colorado? Because you're not from Colorado, are you?
No, I moved here from New Hampshire in 2000, at the very end of 2007. So 13 years, maybe.
Wow. How did, can I just go back and say, like, how did you get started in motorcycling? Was it in your family? Was it just something you met some dude, or how did it happen for you?
It's hard to say. My parents actually had some really small motorcycles. My brother had a BMW 750 when I was really young, and I just loved when he would give me a ride. And there was just, it wasn't like we had a motorcycle family, but there were motorcycles around. And then there was just something about it. And I don't know if it was just the riding or the lifestyle, or there was just something that really appealed to me. And all I wanted to do was ride motorcycles, Harleys specifically.
Okay. I get that one. Well, that's cool. So you, so how did you, when did you get your first Harley? Were you pretty young?
So my parents sent me you're going to college, whether you like it or not. And so I had to figure out where I wanted to go to college. And I conveniently chose Daytona Beach. And it wasn't actually for college. It was because I wanted to be around motorcycles. It wasn't,
and it's kind of funny. Tell us what school that was. It's not your normal run-of-the-mill school.
I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for about 2 semesters, and because
you're thinking Daytona, everybody's thinking the Motorcycle Institute. You're doing motorcycle mechanics down there, right?
And and I wish that my parents had felt that was kind of an acceptable thing, because that would have been great. That would have been perfect. But they kind of had their Ivy League people, and they had their mindset on something else. So I met my first husband at Bike Week, and one year in probably, 79 or 80. And we made a deal, and I bought a chopped hardtail Sportster from him, long front end. And I went up to Atlanta to pick it up, and him and a buddy taught me how to ride on the street. And it was a cul-de-sac and uphill with a stop sign, and then you had to turn, and I wrecked it, hurt myself, carburetor fell off. They finally took me to a parking lot where I learned, and just so you know, I eventually became a rider coach so that this doesn't happen to people.
I was going to say,
it was terrible.
From your Uncle Joe.
Yeah. And so I did figure it out, and I made it. I learned, and I could go, and I could stop, and I was 17 at that point. And I think, as I mentioned in my Chase bio, that as much as I wanted to ride motorcycles, I kind of got into it a stupid way. I mean, all this whole story is just like, there were a lot of errors made in judgment at that time. And I kind of ended up in a spot where I didn't really get to ride as much as I wanted to. And that kind of, like, we actually owned a small motorcycle shop and in North Georgia. And
let's run that picture. I think we have a picture
okay.
of your motorcycle shop. I love these old pictures. It's just like, look at that.
That's it.
I don't know. You kind of look like a bartender there more than a motorcycle shop.
Yeah, there's the beer in front of me.
You look like you're getting ready to serve up a beer to the counter.
Well,
So,
beer.
yeah,
Maybe that's what it
probably.
is.
I probably was back in those days. So,
Classic Dave Man on the wall right above you.
yep.
Yep, there it is. Isn't that cool? What year do you think that was right there?
I would say that was 1980.
You know, what I think is kind of interesting, it seems like you've had several lives. I mean, you had this life, you grew up in I'm sorry, was it New York you said?
Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut. So you grew up in New England, and then you ended up in the South, and you married into the South and lived there for, what, 13 years or so?
Yeah, it was 10, maybe 13, 10, 12, 13 years.
And then you go back up north, then you go out west. I mean, you kind of have these it's not like you just did something for a few months. You really plunged in. So you have experiences of different parts of the country and different lifestyles almost.
Definitely. Well, once I left Georgia, I kind of had to get my stuff together after that. It was, I kind of had to take things a little bit seriously, and I managed to go back to school for real and get a college degree. And then I got a real job. And one day I was sitting in a drugstore waiting for a prescription or something. And I saw there was a motorcycle magazine I started leafing through, and I saw Harley's, like the price on a new Super Glide or something. And I just thought, wow, I can do that. Now I can do that. And I didn't get a Super Glide. I got a Softail. Because I really grew up on rigid frame panheads. I mean, both of my my first and second husbands rode. Actually, at this point now, I'm married a third time. All my husbands have ridden rigid frame panheads. That's my third marriage.
Well,
that's all you're going to consider? Is that what you put out on the dating apps? We'll only consider rigid riding panhead.
Must have rigid frame panhead. That really wasn't intended. It just happened that way. I think that when I met Willie in the shop in Greeley, I just felt comfortable. I mean, anybody who knows Willie, you feel comfortable with him. I mean, if that's just him, but that was just sort of like home to me. Like, this is the kind of person I'm comfortable around. This is what I know.
So you met him in the shop. I must say, we met him on the chase, and he just came to drop you off, and he was so sweet. And I was just like, wow, that's a cool guy.
He's wonderful. Yeah, I met him at the shop, and I would buy oil from him, or he'd change my tires. And at one point I had this Softail, my Softail I bought new in 01. That's when I was talking about where I saw the ad for the first time. And so I was going to change the fork seals, and he gave me his phone number and said, if you have any trouble, give me a call. And I thought, he really doesn't want me to call. He's a really nice guy. He is just giving me his phone number just to be a nice guy. And, later on, there's the Softail back there. I've done a lot to it. I call it my Softail not so standard. It's gone through like 5 paint jobs and a lot of different changes. But I've got my tattoo here somewhere. That's my Softail right there.
Awesome. So you guys got together, and then he gave you a panhead? Was that the story?
Well,
or did you steal it?
I don't know if it was quite.
Yeah, well, I want to know, back up a little bit. Now, were you going in that shop truly because you needed oil and tires, or was there that rigid panhead there on the floor?
It was 2 years before. So Willie had just lost his wife, and I'm just going to say his 5th wife, just so I don't seem so bad he's been my 3rd husband. But he just lost his wife, passed away. Actually, when I first met him, and so it didn't even occur to me that this was ever going to be a thing. It just kind of over time, it ended up that one day he it was before Sturgis, and he sent a text out. I think it was to a group of people, I'm not sure, and said he was riding up to Sturgis on Friday. And I thought, well, I can ride up to Sturgis on Friday. So let's meet and ride up together. And we've pretty much been together ever since. So that was in 2012. So,
cool.
so as far as
Tell us a little bit about the shop then, since it is just up the road. We want to tell our listeners the name of the shop. And did you work there for a while, or did you help out, or you always had your own job separate?
Well, I helped him a little bit when he was working and I was self-employed, but the shop is no longer there. It used to be called A Righteous Ride. It kind of went by the wayside after Randy passed away, and I think it was 2016. I'm not sure. It's been a few years. So the shop isn't there any longer. And that's that.
So maybe we should start talking about Hoka Hey, because that was kind of you really loved to do the long distance stuff. And I know you told me you like to ride by yourself, right? You kind of like a solo rider. And how did you hear about the Hoka Hey? And that's a good story. I've got all the stories in the world. That's one of my favorite stories. I had heard about it, I think just in a magazine, a motorcycle magazine at some point, like before the first one, I'd heard of it. And I thought, wow, I would really love to do that. But that's just like not something that somebody like me would ever get to do. Like it costs money to get into it. Then you have to have all this time off of work. And it seemed like something I would love to do, but I never would be able to. And actually that year, 2010, I had ridden my bike, my Softail, back east, and I was camping while I was riding, and I went into McDonald's for breakfast, and I was there with it. The only other people in the whole place was this group of very old people, like I probably wouldn't think that now, but that was 10 years ago. All right.
We've all been there.
But seriously, from the retirement home, that's where they came, on that breakfast that morning. Anyway, so this guy walks in the door, obviously a biker, and he looks around, and then he looks at me, and he's just like, "Oh, hey." And Cris, you and I talked about this a little bit. Like, well, I don't know if we talked about this particular thing, but as a woman rider, it's like there can be one motorcycle and one person in a square mile, and somebody will still say, "Oh, is that your motorcycle?"
Oh yeah.
They just never assume that it's your motorcycle. And so this was like the first time ever that somebody just kind of looked around and said, "Oh yeah, that must be her bike." And he sat down.
When there's no one else around.
When there's nobody else around.
So you go into a shop and you stand there waiting for a part for your key and carburetor, and just, you're like the last one there standing. It's like, "Hey, could I get some help here?"
Yeah, right.
It was, I guess that was a sign of the times back then. Now it's not so much, but
yeah.
So,
but
wow. So, did you do the first Hoka Hey? Or
no? So that was before the first one, and that was Heinz. And I met Heinz, and I had breakfast together, and he was kind of doing a test run for the Hoka Hey, and we became friends on Facebook. And so we sort of, I kept in touch. I followed him on subsequent Hoka Heys. And then one year in 2015, he was talking about getting ready for the next Hoka Hey. And I commented on his Facebook, just, "Oh, I'd really love to do that." Just like, yeah, I'd really love to do that, but it'll never happen for me. And Junie Rose, who was actually I think the one woman who has done every Hoka Hey, chimed in and said, "Do it. We need more women." And so I started thinking about it, and I really wanted to do it. And I had it was pretty much brand new at that time, Road Glide. And it took me a couple days to work up the nerve, but I went to Willie and I said, "I want to do the Hoka Hey." And he was just like, "Awesome." And it was not what I was expecting.
That's great.
Not what I was expecting.
You scored. You scored big time with that.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So, kind of the rest was history. I mean, he's just been incredibly supportive, and it's funny because, I think there are a lot of guys that want their wives or girlfriends or whatever to ride, but they don't want them to ride like that.
Not that much.
I mean,
That's a little different. Definitely takes a certain kind of guy. I mean, you're an independent woman, and there's nothing really wrong with taking off by yourself. Yeah, I've done
Right.
some of it, but not as much as you have, you know.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
incredible.
it was, it was just it was funny because during the ride, and it was just kind of, I didn't realize sort of, you learn a lot about yourself on the Hoka Hey. Everybody will tell you that.
Can I get an amen?
And
knows.
by the way, our producer, Chris
Yes.
Callan, is a Hoka Heyer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hoka Hey, is that what they call them? Yeah.
I don't know what they call him, but
Definitely.
did you know him from there? Did you know him from the Hoka Hey or?
No, I didn't.
Different Hoka Heys.
Different Hoka
Hey
Heys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a short commercial break. And when we come back, I want to show some more pictures of your Hoka Hey stuff and then get into talking about the chase. But let's take a
Okay.
short break and we will be right back. Okay,
Oh, you're so good about that.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt. You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line. For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
I've always had to get in there and get dirty along with the mechanic. If I can get to it, I'll change it myself. Actually putting my hands in there, that changed me. It made me believe you really can do this. When I started riding motorcycles, the thing that I loved about being in LA was that in the morning, I could be in Hollywood, and by the afternoon, I could be on the top of the mountain or in the Mojave Desert, and then go surfing by 6 o'clock that night. LA is in the middle of everything that I really love. I am that kind of lone wolf. I like going into these places that nobody goes. When things go wrong, another adventure just opened up. The motorcycle taught me that. When I'm on that bike, that's the essence of life.
That's
That
pretty
Gavin.
cool.
I got
Yeah.
goosebumps with that one. I don't know. I just love Gavin. Gavin's going to be in Sturgis
For anyone that missed her, she
Microbells,
was our guest
show.
our last show, right?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gavin, awesome person. So
Yeah,
we
we-
have some comments. Let's go
Yeah,
through
we
some
do. You know,
comments
for
real
one
quick.
thing, let's tell Abby that she's got to really watch the show, a replay of it, because there's so many comments you're going to have to look at. Just for one, there's so many people that are signed in just because you're here tonight. So I
Hey,
will
thanks
say
for
that. For
showing up,
example,
people.
Chris Possum Sawyer wrote, Possum is here. Hey, Abby. Cecil Williams or Cecile Williams. Hi,
Cecil.
Abby.
Cecil.
Rain
right.
DeVries. Let's rock this, Abby. Tracy Bailey. Hoka Hey. Abby Spaedt. Lisa Allen here for Abby. Randy Stokes also here for Abby. So there's a lot of comments like that. We have somebody from Melbourne, Australia, all the way from there. Kendall Maroney that chimed in. And then thank you, Walter Benarski, for a belated birthday greeting. And Missy's here. Missy Shoemaker, our wonderful helper that shoots for Cycle Sources here tonight.
Yep.
And someone asked where my gallery is in Sturgis. That is in the Buffalo Chip. And I didn't mention, but it is free entry It's only open Sunday through Wednesday this year, so you got to get there Sunday to Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Free entry. It's at the East Gate. You just tell people going to the event center. It's on the perimeter, and that's free. And then lastly, Chris Sawyer wants to know which way my chair is facing, and I am facing forward tonight. So there.
Hey guys,
I must say, it felt weird to see you ride that bike in a forward position.
Oh, did you see me get on that bike? I love that
Yes,
bike.
I
That
did.
was cool.
Go ahead. What were you going to say, Chris?
can I butt in just for a second? I have a question
Of
for
course.
Abby.
You could butt in whenever you want.
So I have to do this. Abby, can you hear this?
Yes.
You know what that is?
Oh, look at that.
Hey.
Yay.
Okay, go ahead.
Have your coin.
There you go.
Okay, so show me yours now.
I'll show you yours if you show
All
me.
right.
I'm not at home.
That's awesome. That means I get my first drink in Sturgis on
Okay.
Abby.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Hoka Hey, people, look at that. We have our coins too, but I'm not pulling my coins out now.
No.
My Jason Cannonball coins.
Wow.
So tell us, how did you find out about the chase? I really want to know how you. how did
So
that come
that's
about?
interesting. One of my Hoka Hey brothers, actually the one who brought me the belt in Arkansas, had done a post on Facebook about Rebecca Cunningham and talked about her video on the chase. And I was like, oh, I should check that out. And I checked it out, and it said motorcycles through 1960. And I was like, oh, I've got a motorcycle through 1960. I've got a 1955. And I looked
I
into
took
it.
a couple days to go, hey, Willie.
Willie. Well, so
Sorry, go ahead.
I can just ask him now. I don't worry too much about it. But the one drawback was that at first they weren't allowing S&S carburetors in it, and I said, "Oh, can we put a linker back on it?" And he was just like, "No, we're not doing it. There's just no way. I have nothing to do with a linker." And I was just like, "Oh, can't we just try?" No, just absolutely not. And Willie doesn't just say absolutely not very often. So, when he does, I go along, but I didn't take no from Jason, I guess. And so I was like, if you change your mind, I can do this. And I guess a few people with S&S carburetors kind of said the same thing. So he finally allowed us to enter
Cool.
with a penalty, but that was fine. I didn't care.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to win. Yeah, I just wanted to ride it.
But
So-
you
So
had,
cool though.
you had such a spirit. I mean, you just seemed to go, you rode, as far as I could tell, you seemed to ride mostly by yourself. And you just, it's funny, like there's so many comments here, go Abby, go Abby. I mean, all these people commenting. And that's kind of what I felt when I was riding beside you, taking your pictures, because it was like, wow, you just keep going. Just keep going.
I guess we should jump back. We should jump back to the Hoka Hey because we have all these great
And
pictures
some pictures.
of you.
Yeah. Let's bring the pictures up.
Like work on your bike sleeping. The Hoka Hey, you have to sleep next
Oh my
to your
goodness.
motorcycle.
That was a great, that's
I
amazing.
could never do that. I'm a hotel girl. I must
Let's
bring
see
the
what
bike in
picture
room.
that was here, if I could find it, or maybe Chris Cowan will find it before me.
Yeah, hey, would that count
yes,
if
number
can you pull your
16.
bike into your hotel room? Does that count by sleeping next to your
No. Oh, this was,
Very good, Chris.
gosh, I guess
Oh my goodness, what a scammer you are.
everything about that Hoka Hey. It was like I got behind when my shifter fell off the first day in Death Valley,
Jeez.
and I got caught in the rain, and it just was just crappy weather the whole time. And I had really bad rain gear. That was like my lesson number one, good rain gear. I didn't have good. It's hard to find good rain gear that fits women, but it's out there if you're willing to pay. But yeah, we had like 2 miles on the interstate, and this was a rest area on the interstate. And this was like gold. So I got to sleep. I felt safe. You can kind of see this truck I'm sort of tucked in behind over here. There were bathrooms. There was a coffee machine. I could brush my teeth. It was amazing. So yeah, that was
a rest stop.
all the
I just
comforts
want to
of home.
know, Chris Simmons, when was the last time you ever thought of a rest area as deluxe accommodations?
Hey, I've slept on a few picnic tables.
But deluxe accommodations. Come on. Looking
Yeah,
forward to that
bathroom.
coffee machine and the
I
cot
don't
next
drink
to your
coffee,
bike.
as you know. I don't drink coffee, but I tell you what, a bathroom is gold. A shower is like icing, right, Abby? I had to tell you, Abby. And I guess, so you've done 2 Hoka Heys?
I've done two. This picture was the very end of the my first Hoka Hey. And I got in at like 3:00 in the morning, slept, and then got up and rode back home.
But you explained that there was a huge difference in the learning curve, what you knew going into the first one, and then how you set up for the second. What can you tell our listeners about that? What you learned and how you changed between the first one and the second one?
So on the first one, when I said that you learn a lot about yourself, I suddenly discovered that there were some health issues that I was having that were probably considered minor if you're at home in the comfort of home, but didn't do well out on the road. And so I had to kind of tackle that. So now it's kind of no more gluten, and I don't know. My face was swelling up. I had hives everywhere. I was miserable. So I had to take care of that. But then again, my friend that helped me out in Arkansas was on the first it was both of ours first Hoka Hey in 2016. But he had been an iron butt rider. And so he kind of coached me, like, this is how you do this. You don't stop. Think of it as a mile a minute. Every time you stop, every minute that you're stopped, that's a mile that you're getting behind. So,
that's a great way to think of it.
Yeah. So I just kind of, that was the second Hoka Hey. Yeah. That's my favorite. That's my choice sleeping position. Just like that. I feel so comfortable.
Okay.
What is the most hours, or was it minutes, that you could get in that position?
I think I went about 2 hours like that.
Wow. Of decent sleep?
Very good sleep. Yeah. Once you get off the bike, I just feel so much more vulnerable. That's kind of like you're sleeping like that. If somebody comes up and wants you out, you just sit up and go. You're out of there.
And the other thing
is, I'd be laying all over the top of the bike. I'd be flopped over everywhere.
And nobody's stealing your bike.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
No, it just ended up being a really comfortable way for me to sleep. And once I figured that out, it made it all a lot easier. But that was in the second Hoka Hey.
If anyone's watching who doesn't know the Hoka Hey, tell us where it starts and where it begins, and how basically,
does that change every Hoka Hey? Can you describe how the routes are figured out, where they start and stop?
So it does change. And now they're kind of on an every other year, not kind of, they are on an every other year. It didn't start out that way, but they're on an every other year run now. So the next one's going to be in 2022. And that one's starting in Rapid City. My first one that I did in 2016 started in Temecula, California, and it ended in New York State, near kind of on the western part of New York State, if I remember correctly. I was just in a daze by that point. But I mean, we went up to the top of Maine, so you can say
then came back and circled back.
And then came back. Yeah.
So how many miles are you talking about?
So it's 10,000 miles, and it's back roads, just all back roads. Ooh. And really twisty. They try to find, maybe not through Kansas. If we've got to, usually you have to get across the middle of the country somehow, and there aren't a lot of twisties, but they will find it. If there's a twisty road out there, they'll find it. And kind of about day 3 or 4, you're like, I'm so over. Can we just get a straight road in Kansas, please? Yeah. So that,
Chris, maybe we should sign up, you and me.
Huh?
What do you think?
Hoka Hey.
You ready? You ready to Hoka Hey?
I probably, if I hadn't found the cannonball, I probably would have done the Hoka Hey, to be honest with you, because I do like the long stuff. It's pretty
cool. It really, and just amazing. You signed up, and so what did you average per day when all was said and done? And the first and second, compare those two.
I can't tell you the average, but the first time I think it was 3 weeks it took me to finish, and the second time it took me 12 days.
Well, and was that roughly the same mileage?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. You
and
sure learned a lot.
The directions are horrible. You told us that the cannonball directions were so much cooler in the roll chart because they give you really weird directions.
Well, I wouldn't say that they're horrible, but they can be difficult. They're tough. That's almost. I think a lot of people come into it saying, "Oh, the miles, I can do the miles," and I just always say it's not about the miles. Yeah, anybody could do the miles, really. It should average about 850 miles a day, back roads.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a lot of riding.
And it starts out like the first couple days, it's a piece of cake. But then when you start not getting good sleep and the weather and, things start adding up, the miles
hallucinating.
get harder. Yep.
Yeah,
Seeing things.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about that word endurance. It's the weather.
Yeah, but this is real endurance. My goodness.
This is definitely not cannonball.
Yeah.
Where you
Any flat tires?
I have not had a flat tire on the Hoka Hey.
Did you start with new tires?
I did start with new tires. My dealership, Greeley Harley Davidson, has sponsored me with new tires both years.
Nice.
Wow.
So that's
cool.
Been nice.
And they held up. That's perfect.
And they held up.
What if they didn't? And what if they didn't? What if you had a flat on the road? I know some people carry spares, but
oh no. So the Hoka Hey, Hoka Hey, a lot newer bikes for the most part. I mean, I'm going to try it on my Panhead next year, but for the most part, newer bikes.
Oh, yeah.
So people have, I carry patch kits. I'm sure everybody carries a patch kit and a way to pump it up. But on the Hoka Hey, you can, it's different from the Chase in that if you break down, somebody can come pick up your bike, tow it off somewhere, fix it, bring it back to where you broke down, and then you go off. So, you can't sleep inside. You can't be stopped for more than 48 hours. And these are rules that I'm going off of, that are a few years old. So that could change. I mean, things can
explain
change,
how they're tracked. You didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a tracker. So we have this U.S. fleet tracker everybody has on their motorcycle. And,
Jason Sims, are you listening? Jason Sims?
Yeah.
Jason Sims, Lichter to Jason Sims.
And you know where all your dogies are.
Yeah.
That's right.
It does take a little bit of power. Actually, when I was in the sweep truck, I think that's when Morgan and I were talking about it. It could have been at a different time. That spot walla is another good way to track bikes. And that's what they use in iron butt stuff is the spot walla. So you get like sort of a little GPS device and it's not sucking the power out of your motorcycle. On the new bikes, not a big deal with those trackers, but on the Panhead, do you really want to
Motzi Jr. just chimed in and said, did I hear you say you're going to do the 10,000 miles in 2 weeks on the Panhead next year? Yes, she's going to do the Hoka Hey and the Panhead.
What is wrong
I'm
with
going to attempt it. Okay. And really, I'm allowing.
There's some crossed wires in there somewhere. I'm sorry.
I'm allowing 3 weeks. So I don't expect to do it in 2 weeks. As long as you abide by the rules and don't sleep inside and don't stay anywhere 48 hours, you're still a finisher. But
wow.
Yeah, so my feeling is this. I did really poorly my first year and I did so much better the second year I did it. And I can see where I might shave off 12 hours, maybe 24 hours max. And that's great, but it's not going to really, I feel like I need
in the grand scheme of things.
Not a big, it's awesome to finish. In 2018, I was the first woman across the finish line. But
cool.
But I just feel that the Panhead just kind of adds, especially after the Chase. So, that was awesome. It was just it's like one of the highlights of my life right there. There's Willie.
There's Willie. Oh my God.
That is so cool. Yeah. Well, I don't know after tonight, I don't know if Willie's what he's going to think of you there, Abby, because again, when you start reading these things, we love Abby, June Rose, Lisa Allen. We admire Abby, great writer. And then, it's on and on. There's just so much. Margie,
I see Carla. Carla DeWatt, your Hoka Hey sister. I know Carla.
Mm-hmm.
Jocelyn.
She's also my motor maid, Mama.
And then one last one. Cindy Mann chimed in. You need to tell about your spirit animal, Abby. What is that all about?
Oh man! So the bear. I saw 5 bears on my first Hoka Hey, and I was terrified. My biggest fear was that I was going to park somewhere to sleep, and then I was going to get eaten by a bear or killed by a bear. And then I just kept seeing these bears. Saw them in Oregon. I saw them in North Carolina. I saw them in Virginia because we did the Blue Ridge Parkway and the Skyline Drive. So I saw 5 bears on my first Hoka Hey. So, and then what's funny, and my second one, then I took my food because I brought my food with me on the second Hoka Hey because of the issues from the first Hoka Hey. So I had my own beef jerky that I made and just a few items. And I put them in this little box that I put on top of my tour pack. And then if I was stopping somewhere where I was afraid of bears, I'd just move it someplace else. So if the bears wanted to eat my food, they could. And people laughed at me. Michael Thomas specifically. And it's just, if you're out there, Michael, listening. So
hey, there will be no bear shaming on the show.
Yeah.
No bear shaming. You know what? Tommy Stafford just chimed in, and he says he's from Greenville, Texas, and he can't figure out what y'all are talking about. And I thought we talked funny in Texas. What in the heck is Hoka Rage Toka Taka? Heck of a ride. So he must have tuned in late, but I'll use that as an opportunity to ask, where does the name Hoka Hey come from? So I hope, Tommy Stafford, you're listening. It is Hoka Hey, and it's a long distance endurance ride that's quite the challenge. But let's hear where the name comes from, if you know. Oh, look at that great shot. Shifting gears on the chase. I love it. That's badass. Sorry to interrupt.
So Hoka Hey, we'd like to say it's a great day to ride. Just sort of conquering yourself. You'd probably do better off. There you go, going onto the website.
Yeah,
maybe
right
Chris can have a better.
He's trying to bring it up. Maybe you'll read it for us when. I want to know where the name actually comes from. Maybe Chris Callan?
So listen, I don't want to incur anyone's wrath. I'm only going to tell you guys what was told to me, and this was told to me by Jim Red Cloud when he was first working on Hoka Hey. And it was Crazy Horse. What he used to cry out to his warriors as they went into battle was Hoka Hey, and Hoka Hey literally translates in Lakota as it's a good day to die. But what it really meant, it wasn't like a death wish thing. It was this is God's will. What we do right now is God's will. You know, so when it translates down to this challenge, it's a really, really special thing, because one of the things that happens on Hoka, and I don't mean to butt in on your show again, but
no, we want you because I know you spent some time.
Yeah, you were
didn't you actually go on the res for a while and spend a little time checking all this out?
You become crystal clear with awareness. Like I've never been through an experience like this in all of my life of motorcycling. It's such a special thing. You really become aware of the day and the other life around you and where you are and how fragile life is and how insignificant, you know, at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. Everyone should do it.
Wow. You know, I've always said that about motorcycling in general, but I think Chris Callan, you hit it on the nail on the head there, because it's that experience magnified almost to a hallucinogenic level, right? Because lack of sleep and heightened awareness. Would you agree with that, Abby?
Yeah. There's no question. It's life changing. There's no question about it.
As good as tripping on acid?
Hey, where's this going?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Uh-oh, my roots are showing through.
Hey, whatever. Hey, but you know what? I think it's amazing that it's challenging yourself. You know, it's you against nature and being out there and.
God,
and that
I
was
love
the
your
thing,
attitude about it. 3 weeks and whatever it takes to do it. It's you against.
Well,
it's you with the world almost.
Exactly.
In the world.
Well, with the chase, like I wasn't afraid of the miles going into the chase. And you know, unless you challenge yourself, I mean, you have to challenge yourself. What have you gained if you just do the same thing over and over, I guess is how I feel. Right. But so the chase for me, I wasn't worried about the miles going in, obviously, but but I wasn't super confident about starting that panhead every time. And, you know, Willie was an excellent trainer, and I worked at it, and I was so worried about getting there and getting into the bike inspection area. And then I had to start the bike, and here are a bunch of people I don't know, and that are all probably looking at me like, is this chick going to be able to start this motorcycle? And I started it on the first kick. And I just, like, every time I started, I feel like standing back and like, yes, you know, every time. So somebody,
I
one
can
guy
relate
said,
to that. It's different for women when you're kickstarting your bike than it is for guys. Okay.
yeah,
I mean, I know
and
guys
this,
that can't kickstart their bikes, but it is because everybody watches you, right?
right. And
Oh,
then
one of my favorites was a Finnish woman. I still remember. She was absolutely stunningly beautiful. She was about 6'2" from Finland, and
Jeez.
she was I was out photographing her, and I met her at the Full Throttle Saloon County line a number of years ago. And I remember her kickstarting a panhead chopper, and it was a long Scandinavian chopper, and she was really gorgeous. And there's a bunch of guys around her like going, yeah, right. And she gets on and one kick, she starts, and I'll tell you, everybody's face just dropped. She got on that bike and rode away.
Yeah.
Perfect. That must feel really good to you, right?
it is, oh, it feels awesome. In fact, there was somebody, and I probably know who would have known who it is now, but I don't know who it was at the time. And he said, impressive. And I was like, thank you, because I worked really hard at that.
Oh,
and
that's great.
And so what was nice, I mean, this was the first time I've been on the Panhead away from home, away from Willie. And that was scary. It was really scary for me. And I, yeah, there's my belt.
Oh, there's
all
your
over
belt.
the ground. That was the
my
pinata.
goodness, yeah.
But it was.
I remember that. Speaking of the belt right there, I know Jason Sims and I were in the sweep truck, or the lead truck, whatever you call it, Jason's van. And we came upon you going up that hill. And I guess, is that when your belt had taken a dump?
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty scary. I was going up this hill, and it was up and up and up. And I started
Pretty good
losing
hill.
power. And I was like, what's going on? And this guy passes me, and I'm like, and it just, and then I realized there was nothing there. And it was scary because I was like going backwards then on the hill. And, you know, these bikes don't have good front brakes, and there was no shoulder. Remember, there was like all those rocks on the side of the road. And I just thought, okay, so now what am I going to do? And then there you were. I was like, awesome. So how did that happen?
We jumped out the van and turned you around and said,
I said, I'll go down to a flat space and I'll see you guys later. And, but yeah, I mean, it was like, I never felt like I wasn't going to get the bike started. Like sometimes it took longer than others, and guys would come up and be like, oh, are you doing okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She'll start. Just give me a minute. We'll get going.
Well, you got it fixed. You fixed the belt and you're off riding again the next day, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and the whole thing about kickstart, Chris Possum.
I love
Chris,
that. Oh.
He says, kickstart anxiety that jinxes the crowd. No shit. That's how that works, right? You're by yourself. Always first kick. You know?
Yep.
Wow.
So cool. Wow. It was really great to meet you on the chase. I just have to say, I was just like, yes.
Are you going to Sturgis?
I'm not sure at this point in time. I hope to get up there. Willie and I like to go because we kind of do this reenactment of our first ride together. Oh, that was fun. That bridge.
Oh, a car coming over a single lane bridge. There's Abby coming over the bridge on a wooden plank, single lane wide, and a car is coming the other way. Abby won.
They better back up.
Abby won.
You back up. There you are. Oh, that's a great shot.
I did ask that question about Sturgis for our producer because he really is looking forward to that beer. But
okay, yeah, I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it.
Yeah,
we'll get up there one of those days.
Me too.
I will.
We'll get together. Definitely.
Okay.
Wow,
Awesome.
I was impressed with your mechanical ability and doing your servicing. People don't realize on the chase you have to do your own stuff. You don't have a mechanic like on the Cannonball. You have to adjust your chains or try to fix whatever you can. And I must just say I was very impressed with your mechanical skills.
Well, I mean, I think all your skills and knowledge. I mean, the chase is a test of endurance, knowledge. What else? Speed. It's one more thing. But you have so much of that. And you mentioned you went back to school. You didn't mention you actually got a master's degree, and you do have a real job as a city manager of a town in Colorado, and have done many other things. So you're just so impressive and inspiring. You fit all the things we look for in a guest. And this is really, really cool. I can't wait to run into you on the road. And here in Colorado, I imagine I may just see you beside me on the highway.
When I see somebody riding backwards, I'll know it's you.
Yeah, we'll have to go meet up in Allen's Park for breakfast sometime.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh, wow. Did you get some awards there? What's that?
So that was the Tour of Honor. It's a sort of a year-long event rally where you visit memorials, veterans and first responder memorials, and and it benefits veterans and first responder charities. And so it's like I said, it's a year-long thing, but on April 1st is when they open up the sites. And if you're the first person to get all 7 sites in a state, then you win a trophy.
That's pretty cool.
So,
wow.
So, yeah.
And we didn't even talk about your book. You wrote a book.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yes.
that's right.
It's on,
Geez, another accomplishment.
yeah, it's on Amazon, but you actually sell them through your website where you can sign them and autograph them yourself. To people,
I do.
so.
And actually, yes, because I brought,
There it is. Show Redemption.
yeah, there it is.
So what kind of book is this? Your memoir?
So it's a memoir.
fiction?
Yeah. So I've got,
Really?
have some at home. So it starts out sort of like the kind of a group of short stories about my life back in the day and all the really bad decisions I made and the crazy stuff that I did. And yeah, so kind of, I mean, there's nothing too crazy, but I just kind of, I like to tell stories. It's funny seeing that, what that ad with Gavin in it, where she's saying, you know, if it's something bad happens, it's an adventure. So there were a lot of adventures back in the day. I finally figured out that, you know, probably me and alcohol shouldn't be together all that much. And so I did quit drinking and like almost 30 years ago now. But so the first half of the book kind of tells about all the crazy, stupid stuff I did. And then the second half of the book was my first my first cross country ride on my Softail. And I kept a blog that was sort of at the beginning of blogs, that people had blogs. And so I sort of wrote a story every night about on the road. And
very cool.
And you have
so
a
that's the
website as
book.
well where you are doing some blogging. Are you?
I'm getting started back up with the website, abbyontheroad.com. And there are a lot of things that I do. I'm sort of leaning back towards doing some of my more creative things. So I do websites. I do if you scroll down, you can see I've got some.
Just quilting, cool.
Yeah, I do the t-shirt quilts, and then I do flyers, and I even like dress up my motorcycle for holidays. Well, I guess I'm going to Sturgis because I owe Chris a beer.
Did you just get a memo or something? What happened in the last 3 minutes?
I mean, Sturgis is not a long ride from here, right? It's a day. I mean, it's not even a day. It's 350
Did Willie just hand you something? What happened there?
No, we'll probably. So after Sturgis, what do we have? Oh, we're going to North Carolina at the end of August. So that'll be a little ride out there, just to hang out right around the Blue Ridge Mountains and stuff, the Smoky Mountains, beautiful spot.
Would you think the chase again? How about the chase in 2022?
I'm doing the Hoka Hey in 2022. And so it's a different timing. It depends sort of how work is looking at that time.
Yeah,
so,
I still have to do that kind of stuff. I realize that. So when is the Hoka Hey in 2022? What month is that in?
Oh, it starts in June, I believe, like mid-June in Rapid City. And I believe it's ending up in Rapid City. And you have no idea. I mean,
stops in Rapid?
Cool.
Yeah, and it's
wow.
So they'll have checkpoints. So usually there you go, June 26th.
Okay. Oh, Chris, you're on it tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, begin and end in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And you just don't know. I mean, there will be checkpoints. We'll know where the checkpoints are. So there'll be 3 Harley-Davidson dealers. Probably, I mean, I think as long as I've been doing it, the checkpoints have always been Harley dealers. And so you kind of know, well, okay, we're going to go to Vermont or we're going to go to Texas but you have no idea how you're getting there.
Jeez.
And I mean, in 2018, I didn't think we were ever going to make it out of Texas. We rode every back road in Texas. And I was just like, all I want to do is get out of Texas.
Okay.
So you just don't know.
Wow. Well, okay, so that's June. So the chase is until September.
I know.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it depends what the other half of her life looks like.
Yeah.
So are you planning any more books? Are you still writing?
Yes, actually do. I have 2 projects. One's kind of a fun thing about sort of where to go for rides. And that's all I'll say about that. But then there's the I'm trying to write a fiction novel, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So
Either that or everybody do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it is about a female motorcyclist, female rider, and it should be pretty exciting. It would make an awesome movie. I just have to do
I want
it.
to start a movie about a really cool female rider. You know,
It's kind of an apocalyptic sort of thing. It'll be awesome. And I keep going out for rides and saying, well, I have to go research my novel, so I need to go ride over here.
It's business.
Ride over
it's
there.
all business.
It is.
I have to
write
say
it all
that
off on my taxes.
Chris Callan just chimed in and said, I was just joking with the coin, but seriously, Abby was my favorite rider to run into on the chase.
It was just so cool seeing you, a woman riding a panhead chopper. I mean, that was cool. We like cool things like that to break up. All the stuff you get used to. I have to ask though. So you said half of that first book was you covered your mistakes, was it, or your stupid stuff? How did you describe that?
Just kind of it was a lot of good stories because there were a lot of bad choices. So there were just a lot of stories, and I think it's entertaining. Most people say, like, it took me a long time to write this book, longer than it should have. And people read it like in one night or 2 nights.
A couple of people did comment about the book online here.
Wow,
so
cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's a quick read.
You said I think you covered your mistakes or the stupid things you did in a half a book. I can't even go there because it would take 10 volumes of just covering the stupid stuff.
It's the early years, we all learn things.
The early years. I'm still doing stupid stuff.
Hopefully we do the stupid stuff when we're younger, and then we get past the stupid stuff, and then we get into some of the good stuff.
Gotten past the stupid stuff. It's just intermingled in with the good stuff.
Wait a minute. Sometimes I remember I used to work at the post office. One of the sayings one of the old guys used to say is, "Sometimes bad is good."
There you go. Well, that's like learning from your mistakes, right?
There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Abby, I hate to say goodbye. I just feel like I just want to talk to you all night, and I hope we can see each other in Sturgis. So look us up.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wednesday Ladies' Day, or maybe you can come over to the exhibition on Sunday and say hello. That'd be great.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
Definitely. All right.
All right. Thanks so much for being here, Abby, and for riding that panhead chopper.
Definitely. We'll see you later. I can't wait to get your book.
So cool, huh? Wow.
I know. I knew she was going to be fun. I was so excited to see her. I just felt like a big groupie on the chase, I was like, Abby's working on her bike,
That Hoka Hey is sounding more and more appealing to me.
Well, maybe you should.
Yeah.
What the heck,
It sounds really cool. Talk about a break. And what did she say? The first one was a real good way to kind of assess things and
the biggest challenges are where you get the biggest growth in your life. At least I have. I faced so many of my fears. Doing the cannonball was pretty scary for me, and the chase was pretty scary for me. But and just doing all those things. But you just feel empowered when you do something that you're afraid of.
Yeah, that's right. And plus the ante just got raised because Chris Callan said if I do it, he will. So that'd be pretty cool.
There you go.
Although he's gonna be out there waiting on me. I'll just cruise along.
Yeah.
But, after I saw her sleeping on the bike like that, I'm thinking, I could do that. Yeah.
You could?
Oh, yeah.
Michael, I'll actually volunteer to be your driver.
Oh, so I can go backwards?
Yeah. But we still have to be competitive if we do it. So
that's right. I actually was thinking about doing it forwards and riding myself, but now you've really thrown the gauntlet down.
Oh my God, backwards. Okay, hey, you got to get that in the Guinness Book of World Records.
God, that would be something.
Holy crap!
And especially pictures of Chris sleeping slumped over the gas tank and me slumped over the sissy bar in some rest area.
Both ways. That's a lot of slumping.
Oh, that's cool.
Gosh. Well, thank you guys. I hope everybody had a great show tonight. It was really fun for us. Again, thanks to our sponsors, SNS, and then Torque is amazing. You guys have going on there. And haven't seen Gavin with the Polaris empowerment commercial. Thank you guys.
So many good things. So many good comments too, right?
Hey, there's Michael's website right there.
Oh, yeah. Look, there's my website. I always forget about that stuff, right?
I know. I love your website.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And actually, we'll get the people that can't make it to Sturgis, we will get our the images from the exhibition online. And something cool, we're adding this thing that's called the Paths app, where barcodes, and every there's 28 bikes that are in the show and pedestals, and they have info sheets and have barcodes on QR codes. You put your phone to it, and you could see more pictures of the bike and stories. Or if you do it on my photos, a number of them will have a little headphone symbol, and you'll hear me talking about the pictures.
No way.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Technical.
Yeah, I know, it's
technically
crazy. And
advanced.
somehow we're going to get this done
Holy
in a few
crap.
days.
Yeah. And tomorrow night's a Cannonball show. I know Jason
course.
Martins and Rob, and I think their guest is John Stoner, who was an amazing guy that I got to know on the chase. Who was just
God,
so
he was
cool.
such a help with the panorama.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, he made that panorama, and he was hustling, but he got those bikes in there for us.
Hey, I can't think
Super
of the
big help.
panorama and not think about the tick that was on me, though. You know, when I pulled that tick off.
Oh my God, you said that.
You didn't get any ticks on you? Holy crap.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
there's
that I
my
know
website.
of, and I'd rather not know.
Well, you'd know by now. Oh my God, it was 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yep. You can get my
Alrighty.
books, you guys. I still have a few Cannonball books left,
Oh.
but not many.
Go on and
So-
wait a minute. You got to go on Chris's website. Where's that? Because your book.
Simmons.
Now you better get these while you can, because they're going to be sold out before she comes out with the next edition of the next 50 years, and then you could
Gosh.
hear and meet Gloria in this book
Yeah.
and so many other
Gloria.
great people.
Yep.
I'm going to keep pressuring you.
Yep. I don't know who's on the Torque show Thursday.
I don't know, but you know, Torque is coming out in print very shortly.
Yes.
They're deadlining tomorrow. So that will be,
Wow.
guys, you know, they have the Torque show on Thursday nights, and now there will be a actual print magazine that starting out, it's going to be 4 times a year, and we'll see where it goes
Wow.
after that. But I'm
amazing.
looking forward to that. Another title to go along
Yep.
with Cycle Source, and
Yep.
of course, Easy Riders Classic coming back, and we need
Yep.
more titles on the newsstands.
Definitely.
Can I
And
get
then
an
we got Chop
amen?
Talk. Hey, man. That's right. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. You know, tune into all our shows, and thanks to everybody for supporting us. It's good to be back. I missed you guys last week. Thanks, Chris and Heather, Cycle Source. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
Being
Chris.
such a great co-host. And thanks to Abby tonight
Oh, yeah.
for coming and hanging out with us.
And so much fun hanging out with you, too. So
Yep.
until next
See-
week, same time,
we'll
same
see you
place.
guys next week. I think we're going to get the Diva on.
Yes,
can
we
tie
have
her
the Diva.
down.
We will
The
have the
Diva is
Diva on.
everywhere. Anyway, tune in next week, you guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye.
Good night.